To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We weren't on camera
I don't know, I'm just glad that we stand for the pledge and we don't do any kneeling or anything like that. So
The roll call, Christine?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, Hugh Glasgow.
Here.
Tony Hendricks.
Here.
Sarah Hefner.
Here.
Rich Mrozinski.
Here.
John Coulter.
Here.
Steve Mrozinski.
Here.
I am here, Mike Bullen.
Here.
Brad Adamski.
Here.
Alright.
Can I ask for a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Okay, motion carried. Minutes are approved. The Little Kankakee River log jam removal bids.
Okay, I got two. Do you want me to bring these down to you? Or?
Let Steve look at them.
Okay, so we got two back. These are the specs. And then those are the two we got back.
I'll delegate.
There you go, you're good at that. It's okay. The first bid is from Alsop. His bid is for, his bid is for $2,000, and he has a certificate of liability insurance.
2,000 even?
2,000 even.
Okay.
Yes. The second bid is from Nowatzki Farms. His bid is $5,757. And he has his certificate of liability insurance. And I think where is that? It says remove debris from the Little Kankakee River on east side of County Road 800 East. And debris will be hauled to Wasnack Road. Does that one say that too, Rich?
It doesn't say where it's going to be hauled to, but it says that they will remove log jam from Little Kankakee off County Road 800 East per the specs provided.
Okay. And those are the two bids.
Anybody want to make a motion on approving the bid?
Do you want to see that one?
But that just the two bids?
That's it, just the two.
This,
Chrissy, how many locations are they doing this? 3?
Just one location.
One.
There's a picture of it.
Right.
It's that big tree that flopped over with everything that's gonna get caught on it right off the side of the bridge there. Or on the east side of 800 east.
800 east, west, south?
800 east.
With that big of a difference between the two bids, are they both responsive to what you were requesting?
I make a motion that we accept the $2,000 bid.
From Alsop. Is there a second on that?
Discussion on the motion?
Discussion then?
But there's at least 3 other places where there's log jams. Why did we pick this one?
On the Little Kankakee? That's on the
okay.
Little Kankakee.
This is
This is Little Kankakee.
Yeah, on 800 east. I was out looking at bank spraying, and then I saw that, because it's right off the side of the road. And nope, I'm the one that saw it, so I thought we better get it out before stuff gets caught up on it.
Stark County surveyor said that you're working on some other log jams on a big Kankakee?
Yeah, this is the Little Kankakee. This is way upstream from the big Kankakee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, aye. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
The O'Hara Rice ditch report?
Okay, on that one, I got a request from the property owner to clean the O'Hara ditch from old US 30 up to the railroad tracks. So I already have the specs ready to go. If I could get a motion to put those out tomorrow to come back for the October meeting. So it's gonna be from 375 west, where the railroad tracks are, down to Hunsley, the Hunsley ditch, which is old 30 in Hannah, and it's 9,000 feet, so.
Could you drop a little louder, please?
Okay, can you hear me? This thing's on, but, so if I could just get a motion to put that for bid for tomorrow to be back for October.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All for it, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And then just as a reminder, I also have road a ditch bids coming back for October too, so we'll have 2 projects for next month to open.
Brad Adamski, your attorney reports.
I have no attorney report this month.
Tony, surveyor's report.
All I have, I guess, is what Christie's going to bring you up, and probably Hugh's going to bring you up on the Travis ditch cleaning at the Kankakee River that's being paid by the Kankakee River Basin Commission, and I believe Hugh and his cohorts, we're at the finishing stages and cleaning that up. So that's the only thing we got going. We don't have anything from the Kankakee River Basin Commission or the Technical Advisory Commission. There has been work done in the Kankakee, but we are getting more than our fair share of the funds from the Kankakee River Basin Commission, I guess, like we always do. Because we're the first ones to ask and the first ones to get things done. Us in Stark County.
Yep.
That's all I have. Yes.
Do you have an update? I don't know if you want to do it now or under old business, update on the White Ditch with the flooding at Clear Lake.
Clear Lake.
That's
Oh!
County Line Road that goes into Porter
yes.
County.
Oh, now you're talking about- Yes,
Yeah.
I got an email from Mike Novotny, and I emailed him back, gave him my cell phone number. I think I talked to him on email before, but he hasn't called me. Christie got a phone call from Rich Hudson, I believe, and the assistant there at the Stormwater Department, and they got some documents, a treasure trove of documents from us for them, and they were looking into it too, right? So I'll leave that up to Christie, because that's the last we got. Scott Pelap, the head of the Kankakee River Basin Commission, also, I think, talked to Mike Novotny, and they are looking into it, so we're kind of still, and it's the ball's in their court, and Christie's given them a treasure trove of information.
Yeah, their department is working on that ditch project, that tiling project that we went out and looked at it. They're gonna reroute that tile south of there, so they are working on that. But we told them, to keep us updated on what's going on with Clear Lake, and you're waiting to hear from Novotny on that too.
Yes.
I talked to a fellow commissioner from Porter County, Jim Biggs. He wasn't aware of the problem, but he said he would check into it, and I know he's been kind of behind the scenes working on that, but kind of like get something going on that before spring, because if it's flooding now, it's going to be worse in the spring.
Yeah, we're coming in the fall rains. Yes.
Fall rain, yeah, we haven't even got the rainy season yet, so we do have some progress on it.
That's where we left it. So they did. I don't know if Commissioner Biggs knows, but their stormwater department's working on it. They sent their people out.
So we need to get in contact with Novotny, I think, next, and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
I'll
They're
email
working on
him.
that
I gave him my
tile
cell. He didn't call me. He's a
But-
busy man.
Gentleman we have here, guest Doug, is doing an article on that. He called me this morning, and I told him we're having a drainage board meeting today. It'd be a good time to find out what we know. So I don't know if you might want to talk to him afterwards, but glad to see we're doing something.
Yes, we're trying to do
Yeah,
something.
we got people that have their houses flooded. That's not good.
As much as we can push it on our side.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Tony.
Anybody got any old business?
Old business, what about the Louis thing, the study on the drain? Do we still have $40,000 in that account?
No, probably a little bit less, because we had the tile located. So 30-something.
So MS4 paid for that engineering study, and we also put out for construction bids for the whole project. It was itemized somewhat, but it came in, 600,000 plus, I believe.
Yeah.
So none of the partnering agencies have a funding mechanism to award any of those bids. So if there were priority sections that can be done, and they do it take the itemization and do one segment at a time, that's probably one way of doing it. Since that time that we were going over this pre-COVID, the water level has come down drastically at the gate and at that pipe that goes under division. See, two of you guys attended the MS4 meeting where we opened the bids up, and that is the last activity that we've had on it.
Yeah, that's the last MS4 activity. The activity on my end is, since the board approved spending the money for the pipe under the railroad, which is a very unique specialty excavation process, we have people lined up. So the steps that are left here are, we need an easement on the south side of the rail from division over to our ditch, which I understand from Jerry Jackson that farm owner is willing to do that for us. It doesn't hurt him in any way. He did install a new water line to feed his irrigator he put in that field. But we're still fine with that, because we saw that before he installed it. And the last conversation I had with Nick Minnick, the city of LaPorte engineer, and Jerry Jackson, was that potentially next year the bond with the city of LaPorte, they're going for a very large stormwater sanitary sewer bond, and they would be willing to put $250,000 into that bond for us to put this line in that the MS4 paid for. So we won't get the whole $500,000 or $600,000, the Rolls Royce out of it. We might get a Chevy out of it, and we'll get the pipe in, enough of the pipe, the 36-inch pipe in, to get this thing to work properly. And the money we put in, we'll get that pipe under the rail. So we're kind of in limbo right now between the contractors who work on the rail, the easement, and if the city gets the $250,000 to get that pipe, that 36-inch pipe put in, that the MS4 paid the engineer, and see if they put it in their bond for next year, and we can get the city to install that, and that 36-inch pipe will relieve any pressure we could put on that property upstream. Just about anything the city could throw at it, that pipe will handle. That's where we're at. We're kind of in a holding mode. I don't want to spend the money on the pipe under the rail until we have the easement, and I really don't want to release that funds for the pipe under the rail, knowing that the city has a very strong chance, I guess a certainty, that they're going to have that $250,000 in the bond. I just don't want a pipe sitting on the rail that we're not going to use for 10 or 20 years or ever. So they're kind of just a wait and see. If the city comes back, Nick Minnick and Jerry Jackson comes back, says, yes, we put your money in our bond, it's a go, we're all going to do it, we're approved for the funding, we're just waiting to close on the bond, then I think we go get the easement and we put the pipe in and ready to go. Be the first on the list, again, the first person on the list for that money to get our pipe done first in the city's projects. Still going, it's just quiet, and it's a timing function. I'm sure it's going to happen, it's just a timing function when that bond gets released for the city of LaPorte, because we don't have $250,000 to get just the basic structure put in. I have talked to, can't think now, Chrissy could tell me, Sudlow's. Sudlow's on the south side floor. I saw them on a construction site, and I informed them of what we're doing. They knew about it, they have heard about it, and I told them at some point there's going to be some work done on theirs, and they said they don't have a problem. If they see a deluge of water come down on them, they can fix those pipes under their driveways. That's what they do for a living. They know about it, they know it's coming, they know it's coming for decades. At some point in time, those little pipes in their driveway have to be fixed and enhanced, because if we get that flowing as good as it has when it first got put in, they're going to see some more water. They're kind of a flat area, but it will get past them. So the Sudlows are aware of that property south of 4, that sometime in the near future there might be some more water coming at them, and they're fine. It goes that way anyways. Any other questions?
Tony, you know how I feel on that, but I should point out, the Sudlows are holding back 3 feet of water.
Yes.
Now you say that there's enough fall, it's going to not matter a lot But I say the flow of the whole ditch is impeded by that 3-foot dam they have there. 2 dams holding back 3 foot.
Yeah, they have a flat
And we
spot
can
in that.
spend $40,000 on a study, and we can spend $600,000 on underneath the railroad track, or we could spend $20,000 improving that, and it would be way more bang for the buck.
Their area has, their elevation through south of, right there at 4 and south is nearly flat. And
But all the water goes through there.
it goes through there, but we can't find any elevation until you go, I believe, almost a mile downstream. If you're gonna try to find any more elevation through their property, they're just like the bottom of the bowl that,
It's not a mile, it's less than a half mile, probably a quarter of a mile from the end of that drain to Sudlow's.
no, south of there.
South of
To find more fall to put in that flat spot,
Okay.
it's gonna be very difficult. So we're kinda, I'm under the opinion that we put the pipe in for the 36-inch pipe, let Sudlow fix the best they can theirs, and then we see what happens and try to go south a little more through the field, because that's open field, but that's a really deep ditch through that field. It's already been dug pretty deep and it's still kind of flat. We have to go pretty far to find any fall to put into Sudlow's area. Like, we're hoping that there's enough, we're hoping there's enough velocity to keep pushing that sediment downstream, and we clean it up when it gets down, I forget what road that is. There's a bridge down there that has got some fall.
Yeah, right there.
That was part of the study that the engineer did. They went all the way to the Travis. They found the fall all the way from the Travis confluence all the way up to Division Road. We have that mapped out, GPS located, grades through the whole system. And that's kind of the plan. That's what I'm saying. We don't have $600,000 to do all of it. But if we get $250,000 or $390,000 with what we have in it, we can make a lot of headway. And then we'll have to work at Sudlow's. But Sudlow's is you're right, Sudlow's is the choke point, and they know. And they're aware of what's coming down the road.
Well, we're under surveyor's report in the Travis ditch. Bill from Stark County said that possibly we should think about reinstating a
Assessment?
For the
for the
Travis.
Travis.
Yeah, he and I talked about that a couple different times, and the last time we tried to do a public hearing was about, what'd I say, 93? And the room was full and they didn't pass it. So, and before that, there was, I think in 73, they tried to do an assessment. I think that's when it passed, but the watershed was just like not even a mile on both sides of the ditch, so it didn't encompass the proper watershed, so we can't. I know he asked me about putting that original one back into effect, but when I've looked at it, I don't, and it was like 20 cents an acre. It was just some,
So it just wasn't.
it's not even gonna be worth, it's not gonna be worth it. So the only way you're gonna be able to do it, and he and I have talked about this a couple different times, is to assess the proper watershed, which, and I've sent him those maps, because I've done all that stuff, because there was some interest the year before last with, the farmers that are by you on the Travis at the Kankakee, and I did a watershed that's, based on the HUC 14s, and it's the proper Travis, but it takes in most of the city of LaPorte and even north of LaPorte. So then there was the issue with how we were gonna handle trying to properly assess those parcels, because if we only wanted to do the bottom end of the watershed, we didn't know how that would fly with the people down there that were paying, that were taking in the water from the north, if the north wasn't paying. So there's like all these variables and points of argument that, and I think they tried to do a petition and they never got enough people interested for the petition, so it kind of crapped out again.
Well, Tony, what's your opinion? I mean, if we reinstate the old one, it's 20 cents an acre. It's better than what we got. Nothing now. If there's a log jam or anything, we can't.
But it's not illegal.
Yeah, I understand what Christie is talking, with Brad's legal advice, if we try to reinstitute an old one that was not near the watershed when the law says the watershed, and one person complains, they're probably going to shut it down. You could try. I mean, we could all, the board, you got 5 members, if they would like to
Well, I don't even know
come
logistically.
November to ask if the landowners would like to petition for an assessment, you could always try again.
I know, but to try to take those old watersheds,
yeah.
that old line work that was
Yeah.
done with a pencil and try to translate that into the digital world, it's not gonna match. It's not gonna be right.
I'm not an attorney, but I don't think legally we would hold up if one person complained.
I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, it's not a proper watershed. And if it's only 20 cents, you're only gonna bring in, what, maybe a couple thousand a year, I'm thinking. Even if it's like 50 cents an acre they were assessing, and it wasn't even a mile away from where the watershed was.
Thank you for explaining that to me, because I heard different from Stark County, and I didn't know.
Oh, from when you talked to Bill? No, he and I have talked about this, and I sent him some maps. If you have time one day where you want me to show you everything I have on the Travis.
No, Bill wasn't
we
sure,
can.
but he was pretty sure that we could reinstate it. But he didn't.
But he had then after.
know for sure.
Yeah, and then he had called and asked me about it, and I said, no, yeah, I've seen all that stuff from '73.
That watershed map is
No,
not.
you cannot
legal in any
legally
sort of way.
put that back into effect. There's no way. Because we talked about that with the big Kankakee, and it's like, if you sat with that pencil drawn map, and knowing how you do it now digitally, you're never gonna get that line to translate. It's never gonna be legal. It's just, so I wouldn't even want to do it. But no, I told Bill all that. But yeah, they had tried a couple years ago to start it back up again, and it kind of lost interest.
And thanks. And I guess I should formally thank you for the help on the Travis.
Yeah, have you gone down there? Because we were out there last week.
My pleasure.
Oh, like when he was
that
almost done.
Drag line did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
He did a beautiful job.
Gorgeous work. Just gorgeous.
Did he get it
That's
leveled
gonna help
out?
the Kankakee a lot.
Yeah. He was about 3/4 of the way through Thursday night. But he's probably got it leveled by now, wasn't he? The trap's done.
No, I told him just dig. I would level it.
Oh, that's right, you're gonna level it. It looks nice. He did a nice job on the trap and on the Travis. It looks beautiful. So,
Any other old business?
no, I don't have
Any
anything.
new business? Claims?
I do not have any claims.
Joint board reports? MS4 report? Right?
Okay, the County Line Road at Hudson Lake, the new culvert is in. They did change the specs at the last minute, and I emailed those to you guys. I just basically copied what the highway guy sent me and sent it to you guys. I went and inspected it. Looks okay. They put a lot of rock in there to riprap and stabilize the banks. I did text Christine because I would like to see that Hudson arm of the Taylor ditch on our side added to the bank spraying program that we're doing with other ditches. I'd like to see that in there so that the clearing that St. Joe County did, that Steve and I were kind of pushing for, that doesn't just grow back up in a couple of years and we gotta end up doing it again. If we can keep that under control with bank spraying, I think that would be good for visibility, for access, to get debris and keep it maintained.
I checked it out over the weekend, and it's flowing good, the new tube and everything.
Yeah.
Looks good.
That's good.
Other than that, we got a couple of projects going on at Newport Landing. Because there's a bunch of projects right in that vicinity and multiple contractors and this and that, then you get rain, you get mud, you get tracking, it gets a little bit messy. We got street sweepers going out there every day at 3:30-ish and cleaning up the mess that is creating. D&M excavating, we got a new permit application for land adjacent to the old site for contouring and tree clearing. Since the last meeting, we've had numerous wetland complaints, which is basically neighbors fighting with each other and turning each other in for filling in or doing work in wetlands. We have a municipal owned project going on at Stone Lake We did not get a Rule 5 plan for that, so we didn't know about it until we got our first complaint. But because the project is close in vicinity to sensitive water, we were able to take jurisdiction, so we're now active on that site and requiring BMPs and monitoring that situation. That's all I have for today.
What do you do when people start building in their wetlands?
Well, we put in a stop work order because you absolutely cannot fill in a wetland. Even if you are taking out of a wetland, you can't even put a teaspoon back in. And that's the Army Corps of Engineers. It's a federally enforced thing, but MS4 is like the local enforcement branch. So we will go out and respond on behalf of the Army Corps for things like that, at least initially, before their agency can get out there. And so we'll, if we're the first responders, we can stop something before it becomes more damaging and more finable, or until their agency can get out and do what they do.
Any public comments? All right, well then the meeting's adjourned. Next meeting's October 13th.